Hello, sixth grade. How's it going? Today what we're going to be doing is learning more about order of operations. It's a topic that I think is important that we review a little bit more. In that, we will not only mention that we've been working on this topic for a couple weeks now. If you have any trouble with the topic, you should go back and take a look at the two links of the two videos of the lessons that we've done in the past, both early May as well as mid-May. But also make sure you understand that the problems that we've been doing in the past are pretty similar to the problems that we're going to be doing today. Okay. Let me just show you. We're going to be working on these problems that you see inside of your Practice 5 book in Maximo. The recommendation is that we practice this, we understand all the steps, understand exactly how to do order of operations. Now, these problems, for example, letter B that we'll do today is similar to a problem that we did on page 65, as well as problem D and C and A. They're also similar to letter B that we did on page 65. If you look at G that we're going to be doing today, it's similar to letter D that we did on page 65 of prime. Letter I is similar to 2A on page 65, the second problem. And letter F is similar to B that we also did on page 65. Okay? Each one of these problems that we're going to be doing today is similar to a problem that we've already done in prime. Okay? So make sure you check those out. Some of them are more extensive than others, and you're going to have to understand the order of operations to be able to do them more clearly. Okay, so for example, this K, it has parentheses. You have to do that first before you go on to the division. Okay, we're going to break this lesson up into 2 different days. So if we don't get through all of the problems, we will get through them in the second part of the week. Okay, so just so you understand that these problems that we're doing today are similar to problems that we've already done in the past, as well as this game that we played in the past. Okay, all these games will help you with order of operations and gives you a little bit of a better understanding of this topic. So let's jump right into the lesson for today. Today's lesson deals with these problems. Okay, practice 5, which I'm going to be putting up on the screen. The other thing is that with these problems, boys and girls, you need to respond to them with this tiny URL, okay? This tiny URL is going to give you a chance to put the answers into what is called a Google form, okay? That Google form is going to give you the chance just to put that answer in the blank, okay? So for example, this first practice, it's going to give you a chance to put that answer right into right in here, okay? You'll have to put the answer right there. All right, I just gave you the answer for the first one, but that's okay. Let's jump into the first problem, okay? The first problem says 9.48 plus 10.27 minus 2.86. Don't mind the roosters in the background. All right, let's jump into that first problem. Okay. I know that the first thing I need to do is 9.48 plus 10.27. So let's do that part first. 9.48 plus 10.27. Seven plus 8 is 15. 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. And 10 plus 9 is 19. I'm going to bring my decimal point into my answer. So our first part of the problem is 19.75. All right, now I'm going to subtract the second part. Let me change my color so you can see that. Now I need to do the second part of the problem. 19.75, which I came up with the first part of the problem. And I'm going to subtract 2.86. Make sure you line up your decimal points, otherwise you will not come up with the correct answer. Okay? 5 minus 6 we cannot do, so we're going to go over to our tens column and make that a 6. What is 15 minus 6? 9. What is 6 minus 8? Well, we can't do that, so we need to go over to our hundreds column and get rid of one of the hundreds. We're going to make that an 8 and bring back our hundreds. We're going to bring back 10 hundredths, so we're going to make that 16. Okay, so 16 minus 8 is 8. We're going to drop our decimal point into our answer, and we can just do 18 right away minus 2. 18 minus 2 is 16. So our answer is 16.89. Inside of the link, which I showed you before, you're going to put the answer. Okay, that link, again, I showed you it before. You're going to have to put your answer, 16.89, into your answer blank. Okay, let me just show you that link one more time. After you go to that, you're going to be able to put your answer into the answer blank, 16.89. There's your answer right there. I won't be showing you the answers anymore. You'll have to put that into the link on your own, okay? So you can submit that. Already 19 kids have submitted their responses, so fantastic, congratulations. Let's go to the next problem, letter B. Letter B says 2.32 plus 5.6 minus 4.3. Again, we do the problem from left to right. So let me just switch the color. Here we go. We're going to do this part first. So the addition first. 2.32 plus 5.6. Now something that Mr. Joseph likes to do is just fill in that blank with a 0, just so we can add that a little bit better. I think that it helps. You can also just ignore it if you understand that your decimals, your digits from your decimals always line up. 2 plus 0 is 2, 6 plus 3 is 9, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So our answer is 7.92. Okay, make sure your decimal points line up, otherwise you will not get the correct answer. 7.92 is just the first part, just the first step of this order of operations problem. Now we need to go on to the subtraction, the second step. Okay, 7.92 minus 4.3 is my next step. Again, I'm going to just fill in that blank with 0, just so that we can subtract a little bit easier. 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 3 is 6. And 7 minus 4 is 3. If at any point Mr. Joseph's going too fast, you can always pause the video or come back to part of the video to look at how you do the procedure again. Okay? If you want to see if you can figure out the answer, pause the video, figure it out, and then check your answer from Mr. Joseph's explanation. Again, put that answer in the URL, okay, the Google form, just so that I can receive your answers at the way end and see who is participating, okay? Let's erase these and go on to letter C. Letter C is very similar to the first two. We're going to subtract first and then add. To save time, I'm actually going to do this one on the calculator just to show you how easy these problems can be, okay? 11.04 is the first number that we're going to work with, and we subtract that 2.61. Now my answer is going to be approximately 9, maybe 8 and a little bit more. There we go, 8.43. I know that because 11 minus 2 is 9, okay? But 2.61 is a little bit bigger than 2. So 8.43 is my first part of the answer for letter C. If I add 3.56, I would just plus 3.56, and my answer that I get is 11.99. Since letter C is very similar to A and B, I did that on the calculator just to show you how simple these problems can be. Go ahead and put that answer in the tiny URL. Let's do problem letter D. Problem letter D is very similar as well. It's just subtraction and addition. So let's do that. Let's go 9.89 minus 3.45. Whoa, let's do that again. 0.45. Again, you need to line up your decimal points. If you don't line up your decimal points, you're not going to get the correct answer. 9 minus 5 is 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. And 9 minus 3 is 6. I hope you really enjoy those roosters in the background. They crow all day long, and I can't do much about it. Here we go. So that's the first part of our problem. 6.44. Now we're going to add 1.28. 6.44 plus 1.28. Now, I'm going to put my decimal points in a line, and then I'm also just going to drop my decimal point into my answer right away so I don't forget it. 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry my 1. 4 plus 2 plus 1 tens are 7 tens. And 6 plus 1 is 7. So my answer for letter D should be 7.72. There you go. There's your answer for letter D. Go ahead and put that inside of the URL, the Google form, just so I know that you are following along. All right, let's do letter E. Letter E is going to be a little bit more difficult because of the fact that we have multiplication and division. Now, if we look back on our rules for the order of operation, it's important that we understand that we do parentheses first, then exponents, which I explained last time, and then we do multiplication and division. So multiplication and division is going to be always going to go first before addition and subtraction, all right? But the book wants you to just separate them out, okay? So now we just did a whole bunch of problems with addition and subtraction, which are they're easier, right? Let's just do a couple of problems with multiplication and division, okay? Pay close attention if this is a little bit more difficult for you. The first step, since we're starting from left to right, is 2.1 times 4.3. Now I can do that in two different ways. I can do 2.1 times 4.3, or I could do 21 times 43, and then worry about my decimal points at the way end. Since I have two numbers to the right of the decimal point, right? 1 and 3, I have two numbers. I would later on move my decimal point to the left 2 times, okay? I actually prefer to do method B. I'm not sure about you, whatever you decide. I'm going to do method B and then move my decimal point over 2 times at the end. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to put a place value right here. I like to use a 0. You can also put a smiley face or a line or any symbol that you want, because now I'm going to multiply by my tens place. 4 times 1 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, I'm going to add 3 plus 0 is 3, 6 plus 4 is 10, carry my 1, 8 plus 1 is 9. So 903 appears to be my answer, but I cannot forget that I also have 2 decimal points that I need to represent into my answer, right? This one and this one. I'm going to multiply this number by, I'm going to divide this number by 100 because 100 has 2 zeros in its decimal place, right? So I'm going to divide both of those by 100, okay? Divide by 100, which is the same thing as moving the decimal point over 2 spots. Okay, I'm making my answer a little bit smaller. So the answer to this part of the problem ends up being 9.03. Okay, again in Maximo, they would represent that as 9,03. It's the same thing. It's used as the same purpose. But I'm not done. I need to now do my second part of the problem, which is division. Okay, I'm going to erase a couple of things on the board just so you can see that. Okay, I'm going to do my second step, which is division. Now, I am dividing by a decimal, which we've already talked about is a little bit difficult to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of my numbers, both 9.03 and 5.6, and I'm going to multiply both of them by 10. So I'm going to multiply 9.03 by 10, and I'm going to multiply 5.6 by 10. Now, what do I do by doing that? Well, we've talked about this before, that multiplying both sides by the same number, in this case 10, is going to move that decimal point over. Okay, so 5.6 ends up being 56, and 9.03 ends up being 90.3. Okay, Let me erase this right here that I just did, just so you can see what I'm going to be doing. Wish I could erase this quicker, but I can't figure it out. I'm going to erase all of that. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to divide that. Okay, you can divide in any way that you please, but I'm going to divide 9.03. No, I'm sorry, 90.3 is my new number. 90.3 divided by, now my whole number is 56. Okay? By doing that, I'm going to put my 56 on the outside and my 90.3 on the inside. Okay? It's not like I'm dividing differently than Maximo, but it is represented in a different way. Okay? We've talked about that ever since 5th grade. Okay? When we just started to do, actually since 4th grade, since we started to do long division, right? That's when you started learning about division. Okay, thanks for your patience. I gotta erase all these little marks on the, here we go. Okay, so we're doing 90.3 divided by 56. Right away I'm gonna ask how many times does 56 enter the number 90? Well, I think that 56 is entering 90 just one time, because if it was 2, that would go over, right? We don't want to go over. So 56 times 1 is 56. 90 minus 56 is, I think it's 34. Okay. We're going to bring down our 3. And if you wanted to bring down your decimal point, you could do that too if you really, really wanted to. But the most important thing is to bring your decimal point into your answer. Let me put that in black just because it is more important. Now my answer is going to be 1 point something. Let's see how many times 56 enters 343. 56 times some number needs to come close to 343. Oh, we could try, let's see, 56 times 5? No, that's way too small, 280. 56 times 6, it's still kind of, I think that might work actually. Let's try 56 times 6. What is 56 times 6? 336. That's actually perfect. Let's try that. Okay. So now we know that 56 times 6 comes close, which is 336. Let's subtract. 3 minus 6 we can't do, so we're just going to knock off a 10 right there and bring it back over. 13 minus 6 is 7, and 33 minus 33 is 0. So we have 1.6 as our answer, but we need to find an answer that has 2 spots of the decimal. So we're going to bring down an imaginary 0 into our problem, and 56 can go into 70 just one time. Okay, you could continue and subtract 70 minus 56, and you would come up with 14, but we don't really need to. So your final answer for letter E is 1.61. So put that inside of your answer blank, inside of the Google form. Okay, it's important. And let's do maybe 1 or 2 more problems. Okay, let me erase all of this. And let's do letter F. Okay, letter F is also going to be very difficult because we have division and multiplication. Since we do it from the left to the right, we're going to be dividing 4.2 divided by 5.6. As I explained before, if we multiply both sides by 10, we're going to get rid of those decimals. So we multiply this by 10, and we multiply this by 10. Okay? By doing that, we're going to change the problem to let me just get my, here we go. 4.2 changes to 42 divided by, 4.2 changes to 42 divided by 56. Okay? It's going to be the same thing as 4.2 divided by 5.6. Okay? Just to save time, we're going to do this on the calculator. So we have 42 divided by 56 which equals 0.75. Okay? And that's the first part of the problem. Now we just need to do the second part of the problem, which is multiplying that by 4.3. Okay? If you wanted to, you could multiply, for example, 75 by 43, and then just realize at the way end that you're going to add 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal point. Okay, so you're going to move that decimal point over 1, 2, 3 spots after we're all said and done. Okay, let's multiply 75 times 43. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough space. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. Okay, I'm going to put my 0 right there. 5 times 4 is 20. Put my 2 on the top. And 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2 is 30. Okay, if I add all this up, I don't have a lot of space, but I add all this up, I'm going to put my answer right here. We have 5 in the 1 spot, 2 in the 10 spot, 2 in the 100 spot, and 3 in the 1,000 spot. 3,225. Now that's what it appears to be. But again, we need to remember the 3 numbers that are to the right of the decimal point. So we're going to move our decimal point over 3 spots. Okay? So instead of it being 3,225, we're going to pretty much divide by 1,000. We're going to divide this number by 1,000 because we have 3 numbers, or 3 zeros in this case, to represent. So 1, 2, 3. And our new number is, our final answer is 3.225. Now, since our answer needs to be a number with only 2 numbers to the right of the decimal point, we need to understand that this 5 is going to tell the 2 to go up. Okay, it's going to round up. So our final answer for this problem, for letter F, will be 3.23. Make sure you put that answer, 3.23, inside of the Google form for letter F. Okay? I think that's probably where we're going to end up right now. If you need a little bit more practice on order of operations, I would really encourage you guys to go to abcya.com. Okay? It gives you a chance to do these problems, work with parentheses, which we will work with on Thursday. Okay, we're going to go back to this practice. We're going to do letter G and H together, as well as I, J, K, and L. Okay, so we're going to work with some parentheses next time. So thanks, boys and girls, for being attentive today, and we will see you on Thursday.